Hats. Why does anybody wear a hat? The other day I posted a video called This Old Hat. I had my black hat on. I decided to wear my white Western straw hat today. But I was telling my wife about it, and she says, you need to talk about your other hats, all those hats you've collected. Well, I don't want this video to run on for 2 hours, so I collected some of my hats. And these hats here I pulled out some that was kind of special to me. I got them laying out here. But why do people wear hats? Okay, I'm going to take this one off. I'll just throw that down there. There you are. Kind of bald spots right here. So, what is it about a hat? I mean, you see when men or even women, you see women with these hats on their heads and with their evening gowns on, all kinds of places. Men working. It seems like a hat when you're out there. Let me throw one on my head. Yeah, let me throw this on. Okay. Hats tell a story. Really, when you come down to it, hats tell a story. You know, there's different styles of hats. Some have a high brim. Some are more flat like this, you know. They kind of stick to your head. They look like part of your head is stuck down with their hat, you know. Some of them wear them sideways. I don't agree with that. I mean, that's just, or, you know, some have to wear them backwards. Totally defeats the purpose of a hat. My opinion, you wear a hat for a purpose, and that's to tell who built the hat for you. Who's this person, this company, whatever that might be, that you've been someplace. That's what it says, is I've been here. Okay? I've done this. Isn't that really what you're wearing your hat for? Is I am associated with this person or this company or something. That's really what I feel a hat is. And when you're walking down got your nice business suit on, you got your hat on, right? Because you're telling somebody, I've been there, okay? You've been to a football game or a basketball game or to a concert or something. Everybody sells hats because they want their name on your head, a million of you walking around the world, okay? Wearing their name. Good advertisement. Anyway, I'm going to talk about some of these. This one is World Champion Snow Machine Hill Climbs. This is actually where I got my first start in filming. Standing on Snow King Mountain in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I got this hat from up there when I was called to say, Steve, could you come up and run a camera? I'll tell you, I'd never done it before. I thought somebody was nuts. What do I want to do that for? But you know, standing on Snow King Mountain, 10 o'clock. It's as vivid as day to day. In knee-deep snow, or better than knee-deep snow, we had these snow machines coming off the line and climbing up a quarter of a mile up a ski slope that skis come down fast. Yes, they were putting snow machines up this, one at a time, in a track, with flags, over a rock ledge up on top. Contest. It's been going on for probably 40 years now. Lots of accidents, rolls, you know, crashes, injuries, lots of kind of stuff. But it was an opportunity. I looked there, I was filming, and I got into it, and I went, I love this. I love this. This is actually where I got started and why you're seeing me on YouTube. Okay? Right here. Okay? That's one. I'm just going to throw these over there. How many of you had one of these? 50 years old. I thought I was old when I got this for my first 50th birthday. I feel young today. Carriers. Oop, doesn't even fit my head. You can tell I haven't had it on. Carriers. You know, those noisy machines that go down behind a big truck, you know, that's making a racket. It's keeping your produce cool and your ice cream frozen and your fish fresh and or frozen, or, you know, that's what's making the Carrier. They produce the unit that hangs on the front of those trailers that controls the temperature, and it can be warm or it can be cold. It can freeze at -10, or it can warm it up to hold it at a nice warm temperature. It's climate control. That's some of those big trailers you see following down the road. This is one of those companies. I pulled many of their trailers that had Carriers on them. Kenworth. I will have to say, I love Kenworth trucks. I drove a couple of 3 of them in my day. Very good trucks. I enjoyed it. Okay? I have to rate them. And Peterbilt. I've driven quite a few Freightliners, you know, and they gave me a hat. Ought to after you buy a $500,000 tractor. This one right here, Triple M. This is actually where I got my start in trucking. Yeah, 23 years of trucking. Triple M. They're out of Utah, a meat producer. Pork. Triple M. 3 brothers. Their last name was Miller. And that's where the Triple M came from. One produced pork, one did beef, and one hauled the cattle in. And I was in the pork producing. We produced things like Albertsons, Good Day brand products, or the hot dogs, their lunch meats, hams and sausages and all kinds of stuff. Bacon. Okay? That's at the Triple M. They went out of business. Well, they didn't go out of business. They sold their business quite a few years ago. And a company called Thornapple Valley out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, bought them out. And I'm sorry to say, but it doesn't exist anymore. Excellent, excellent, excellent. In fact, I'm going to tell you something about this company, Triple M. It's where I got my start. I should put that up here on a pedestal. The last year before we got bought out and we had to choose which direction we were going, we had around 30 to 35 trucks. These are the big trucks, okay? Over full 12-month period. This was and our band quit the end of that year. I can't remember the exact dollar, but it was around $1,200 to $1,500. Okay, that's 1,200. 1200.00. That is all that was used for any damage, for wrecks, for scratches, for running over a sign or whatever. That was it. That was total. They didn't even touch their insurance that year. $1,200, I can't remember, $1,200 to $1,500, it's been quite a few years. We as drivers did that kind of a record. Now that is an accomplishment. Millions of miles driven that year by some 30 plus trucks. And only $1,200 of damage of some sort occurred in 12 months. That is an accomplishment. And I'm proud to have driven with a company that was so qualified that that's the kind of drivers we had. Okay, back. Peter Pan, a fish company. I haul a lot of fish out of Seattle. Mexico, Ensenada. Yes. My wife and I got married and we took a cruise. We went down into Mexico, and of course you have to buy a Mexican hat, right? Yes. That's where that came from. Rod run to the end of the world. In fact, I'm going to be putting some pictures of these things on. I must have got a big head after this. Rod run to the end of the world. In fact, I'm going to put a little story about Rod run to the end of the world. It's a car show. Very big car show. In fact, I'm not even going to tell you about it because it is at the end of the world. I'm going to put a video out because I shot this video for a couple of 3 years. I'm trying to think of a title really fast. Let me just call it Rod Run the End of the World. Okay? The Steve Allen edition. Yeah, Rod Run to the End of the World, Steve Allen edition. Okay? I've got a lot of shots for this one. That's the reason I got there. 25 years. I think they're up to about 34 or 5. I'll put that in my video. Okay? Graceland. Another story. My wife and I were sitting in Memphis, picking up a load of tires that you guys haul on your car. See, this one's, I haven't wore this much, maybe never. Probably put it on my head when I bought it. And I looked at my wife and I says, wonder what is famous in Memphis that we can go to. This is what we always did. And I'd grab my big old atlas. We didn't have handhelds or anything in those days. Had this big old thick atlas and I looked down. Memphis! Elvis! Yes, Elvis Presley. Okay? Yeah, Graceland. So I looked up on my map and there it was, Graceland, 5 miles from where I was sitting. I ran in and I says, how long is it going to take you to load my wagon? And they says, oh, 3 or 4 hours. And I said, do you mind if I drop my wagon here? And we head over to Graceland. They says, perfect, take off. We dropped our trailer and boom, took off with our tractor. We went to Graceland. We spent a couple hours at Graceland wandering around. That's where I got that hat from. Every hat has a story. Lubricin, your source for a sound horse. Okay? Got this in Rock Springs, Wyoming. High school national finals. Kids, high school age, came from all over the world. Well, not all over the world. All over the United States, I say. Because I'm not sure if the world was involved. It was just probably, let's say, limit the United States. Came to Rock Springs, Wyoming. These were the top competitors all over the states that had taken, I think they had to bring, I can't remember. It's been a few years back. These were the top competitors that won in their own divisions in their own states. In rodeo, these were the bull riders, the ropers, the girls, the guys, the everything. You know, high school age. The best. Some of these went on to pro. Anyway, I was visiting with this guy, and this was in one of the booths. And what did I do? The reason this hat has a story, I was filming a young lady. In fact, I'm going to put that story on. Let's call it Profile of Winners. And the reason is because that's what the story was title was, Profile of Winners. Okay, I'm putting that right there, Profile of Winners. Be sure to catch that. It's another video I'll put out there. Really a story. A real, honest-to-goodness, live story. And I had the privilege of filming that. Anyway, Oregon Jamboree. That was another story. This is one of those head-hugging ones, okay? Oregon Jamboree out of Sweet Home, Oregon. I was rolling across Nebraska one night, my big truck, and I saw this motor coach and got on the old CB, and I says, called up and I says, who's in there? It's just the way it was. I didn't care, you know. They could talk, they couldn't. But anyway, pretty soon I heard somebody come across the air, and I can't remember the name. He told the name of his band. And I recognized it, but I really didn't recognize it. And I went, okay. And I says, we jabbered a while. And I says, so who is this? And he says, Toby Keith. I said, Toby, are you driving that bus? He says, yes. He says, I love driving buses. He says, I let the crew sleep. And he says, I get out here and I drive the bus occasionally. And I said, this is fantastic. So we rolled along the miles, jabbering back and forth, and found out he was headed for Sweet Home, which just happened to be where I was living in Washington at the time, about 100 miles from Sweet Home. And I actually had tickets to go to Sweet Home. And I told him, and he says, I want you and your wife to come to my bus. And he says, just tell them, Steve Allen talked to you out in Nebraska, And he says, you're welcome. I'm going to have you come on my bus and we'll sit and talk for a while. A story. A great story. That's what this hat's all about. Stories. Niagara Falls. Same thing. We delivered cheese up there in upstate New York. And I says, honey, what's, and I can't remember the town we were in. And I went, yeah, Niagara Falls. Again, we went in. I says, okay, this is what we're doing. Do you care? And they said, no problem. Drop your trailer in the yard and enjoy your day. So we went and spent a half a day at Niagara Falls. Satt Brothers Truck Stop. Fantastic showers. A great company. This is really a good company. We used to do a lot of fueling there out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Thing I liked about them was a couple of their spots, they had big showers. I'm talking 2 people could get in this big shower, tiled, clean, very nice, 4 shower heads. You could almost go dancing, my wife and I, totally naked in there. We was dancing in the shower. Okay, 4 shower heads. You got it from every angle. Yes. Okay, Satt Brothers. Another story. Bud's Columbia River Challenge. I got to put this on. I wore this one quite a bit. Bud's Columbia River Challenge. Guy by the name of Bud. I can't remember his last name. He put on in fact, I'm going to put some stories on that. Look for Bud's Columbia River Challenge on my YouTube. I've got some on there, so what can I change the name? Bud's Columbia River Challenge. Steve Allen. Yeah, Steve Allen. Okay? Bud's Columbia River Challenge, Steve Allen. I'm going to post a little short video about this man. I did some interviews with him. Okay? Another one I filmed. In fact, I filmed this organization 3 different years. Okay? Stories. Rip City. I think about 4 or 5 years ago, my wife says, you need a social life. I said, what do I need? A social life? She says, yeah, you're always editing, you're in your studio, you're doing all these things. And she says, you need a social life. Well, I didn't argue with her because I did. I was pretty well right here where you see me. And so to keep her happy, they were hiring people and I went and hired on. And I tried to blow the application. They interviewed me right there on the spot, and they says, have you ever worked with other people? Nah. Have you ever done this? Nah. Have you ever worked with? Nah. Do you care about sports? Nah. That was my attitude. Nah. I was trying to blow the interview. I really didn't want to be there. I'd never been in the building, the Moda Center. It was the Rose Garden back there. Why did they have to change the name? Money. Moda came up with bunches of billions of money, put their name on there. But anyway, they says, well, we'll let you know in a couple of weeks. I went, yeah. Yeah, I blew that one. I was so happy I blew the interview. The next morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, not even 24 hours, I got a phone call. Steve, you've been hired. What do you have to do to get fired? What do you have to do here? Anyway, I got hired. Well, I've been there, come this January, probably 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. It's had its ups and downs. It's been very interesting. I have met a lot of super good people. Really some good people. It's been very educational working there. It's been very educational when you start working in politics. And there's a lot of politics that goes on over there. It's interesting to have watched, I don't know how many, 42 games a year of the Blazers times 4 is what? 4 times 4 is 160 something games. 170 games, and this year I'll have another 42. So 200 games, NBA, National Basketball League games, right there. And I'm getting paid, okay, to watch these. But another story in my life. You know, how long will that story last? It gave me my social life. I was able to slip over there and relax from this, the editing and all these things I do, and film productions, and I'm working on another production, film production right now, and I've been on it for about 4 years. It's getting there. It's getting almost done, ready to go. And it'll mean another hat. Yeah, it's going to be another hat. It's going to be my hat this time. It's not going to say Steve Allen because I'm not telling you what the title is. Just stay tuned. I'm really excited about this because it's something that it's going to be my story. Okay? My story. 50 years of my life. 50? Yeah, I'd say close to 50. I would. 50, 48. 48 years of my life will be tied up in this story. And it's not not about me, but it's about men and women like me. The things that we've accomplished in our lives. The heartaches, the tears, the joy, things that I have lived. You know, I'm not getting any younger. I finally realized when I got 50 years old, when I got my 60-year-old hat, which I didn't get, but, you know, it's 50's the turnover. That's when you start falling off. Your hair falls out of your head and everything. All your hair grows out of your ears and every place else there should have been hair and shouldn't have been hair. It's growing from or disappearing from or something. It's just part of life. So when you reach 60, you really know you're getting older. And I have to admit, 70 is sneaking up on me really fast. Really, really fast. And I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing. It's life. We all go through it. And each and every one of us can make something of it. Whether you have been failure, but there's some good times in your life. I know you didn't spend all your life as a failure. There's some good things you did at it. And there's some bad things. It's typical. We all do it. Nobody is I don't care if you've had a silver spoon in your mouth or not. Life is life. And that's what my story is going to be about. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you the title, but I'm hoping you'll all buy one of my hats. I'll have it online. And maybe a t-shirt. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Steve Allen. I hope you have a great day. Have a great week. Because I'm filming this on a Monday morning. Have a great week. And months and years ahead. Life is just too short, and each of you have a story. Every one of you. So in fact, contact me, Steve. What's my email address? steve@sundogfilmproductions.com. Okay? Tell me your story. Tell me something about you. Get a hold of me. I'm always looking for stories. Remember, I produce stories. I produce videos. And so anyway, get a hold of me, and life is just too short to hang around and do nothing. Anyway, you have a great day, and I'm going to too. See you later, and I'm gone. Bye.